And this segment is sponsored by Stacey Woods Insurance Company. And I have the great pleasure to introduce Stacey Woods, who happens to be married to Jack Woods. How are you, Stacey?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And this is going to be one of my favorite segments because we're going to be able to have our wine. Stacey is going to talk about wine tasting etiquette, which I've always had questions, and I know our audience has a lot of questions about all these endless wine tastings that we go that I love. So start off by telling us a little bit about what you do.
I am a wine educator and an independent consultant, and I work with some retailers in the area as well as an importer. And basically what I do is help to flesh out some of the information on the wines. I know a lot of times out there's a lot of misinformation about wines and a lot of partial information. So I am a certified specialist in wine. I'm currently a candidate for Master of Wine. So I do a lot of studying on wine. It's not all drinking, a lot of people say, but there is quite a lot of practice, and I do some wine tasting in the area. And the biggest thing I see, I guess, is the intimidation factor. And I think everybody has a little bit of intimidation factor. And so people tend to make mistakes, quote unquote, if there are any with wine. And so that's what I was hoping I could share with you today.
That's great. So you also, someone can actually hire you to come in and do a private wine tasting at their home.
I do wine tasting in homes. I do wine education seminars. My most recent wine seminar was at the Worcester Art Museum for the Third Thursday program. I do a lot of wine tasting there, actually. I do wine dinners in local restaurants, etc. And it's really from an educational standpoint. I'm not selling any wine. I don't represent any wineries. But what I really would like to do is to help teach people in an independent way. Because a lot of the education out there right now is directed by salespeople.
And make us, make hostesses very popular by having our own wine tasting at home.
Exactly.
Where you're going to be on my speed dial. So anyway, let's start right away.
Okay.
Let's talk about wine tasting etiquette. Because I always have so many questions. I get invited to a lot of these and I'm like, do I spit or don't I spit? So let's start by when someone pours some wine for you at the tasting.
Yes. Well, you would never want to spit at, say, a wine dinner. You know, this is really for, there are several different kinds of wine tastings you can go to. Retail places, a lot of times you'll get the plastic glass and then you just throw it away, and it's really not a lot to spit anyhow.
Right.
But for the larger scale events, such as, you know, your charity event or the Boston Wine Expo, you're going to be walking in and you're going to be given a glass, and you're probably going to be given a book, not unlike this. So you're carrying a lot of stuff. So I think that one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they have the big purse, and you need to travel light.
And big pockets.
Use a wristlet or whatever, you put it in your coat pocket. You get a lot of information. People are handing you cheat sheets and so on and so forth. So you really want to travel light.
Travel light.
You want to wear black.
You want to wear black?
You want to wear black.
That's a good one.
Because you know, a lot of times I see people with the white sweater, and I'm not worried about spitting on myself, but somebody else
might spit on you.
Might spit on you, and it does happen, especially in the larger scales.
We walk in, and now this is a real wine tasting glass.
This is an INAO glass. It's a wine tasting glass, and this is what all of the professionals use for blind tasting and professional tasting, and that has to do with the shape. That's a whole different show. The first thing you want to do is you want to look at the color. You know, is it on the white scale? Is it yellow, golden? And I would say this is more golden.
And this is a Chardonnay?
This is an oaked Chardonnay. This is Stag's Leap Wine Cellars
So
Chardonnay.
then, when do we smell the bouquet?
Well, I typically smell it before I swirl, to smell what it smells like in its sort of dormant state. And then you give it a good burst of air.
And it's like a little twist to the wrist?
Yeah, it takes a little practice, but
look at you. You've got like a
and then I smell it again, and that's through the aeration, okay? So then the next step is sort of contentious, because a lot of people, what you want to do is to bring in air and bring in wine at the same time, so that you have both the action of the heat of your mouth and the oxygen to explode those flavors. You also want to make sure that the wine touches all the different parts of your mouth, because different parts of your mouth sense different senses, such as acidity or tannin or sweetness or saltiness.
Okay, let's do this elegantly.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's your spit.
I swallowed.
Now, another alternative.
Can I do that if I wanted to?
Absolutely. The problem with swallowing is that if you're at a large format tasting where you're going to be tasting hundreds
for
of
3
wines,
hours,
even when you spit, you're still absorbing alcohol. And you do experience palate fatigue. So that's another big mistake that people make is that they're just drinking and drinking.
Let's do red now because we want to get a few more tips. Those tips were fantastic. Okay. So the same thing.
We do the same thing. Now, one tip that I would like to mention too that I see all the time, once you take your wine, step aside from the table.
Okay.
You can still listen to the person speaking. You can be making your own assessment on the wine while listening, but others behind you can go in and get their taste.
Right.
Now, at a large,
that happens to me too. You're waiting, you want to taste, and you just go to another table. So that's good.
Exactly.
Step aside.
Step aside. Step to the side of the table. Step behind.
So let's taste this.
Sure. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Paso Robles. This is Justin. Now, a lot of times you'll hear professional tasters gurgling. They're aerating. It's unnecessary. What you really need to do is chew the wine, sort of let some air in, and then swallow. And swallow is where you feel the alcohol.
I'm going to bring you back again because these are great tips. Now, just tell us very quickly how people can get in touch with you to hire you for wine tastings or for events.
They can reach me at Stacy, S-T-A-C-Y, at StaceyWoods.com.
Which is popping up. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And that's where I will be posting my blog, writing, and then local wine events as well.
Great. Thanks. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Oh,
this was so much fun. We'll finish our wine before we go. We hope you enjoyed City Vibes Metro and found our guests interesting and exciting. Tune in each week to City Vibes Metro or log on to cityvibesmetro.com to meet interesting guests and learn along with me topics that keep us in the know. I want to thank Commerce Bank and our other sponsors for making City Vibes Metro possible. Good night for now and have a terrific upbeat week. So we can talk.